Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Josie took Wallace down to the vet today. Like, we had noticed something like weird next to his butthole the other day, and I was like, oh,
Is this like an anal gland situation?
No, it's not like that. And I was kind of looking at it, and I was like, I don't know, maybe that kind of looks like a tick. Take him down there to the vet, and they took care of it. But it was like she wasn't sure, the vet. She's like, I think this is weird. I think it was like a leech got attached and then dried up and just was there. And it's like, oh, that sucks.
Gross.
Yeah. Too much butt work being done on him today.
Too much butt play.
Yeah.
A lot of butt stuff. Poor Wallace.
Yeah, but he's okay. We put his vest on him, and now he's just laying out. He's probably going to go outside and eat some bark or something. He'll be fine.
Good for him.
Yeah, he knows how to treat himself.
Yeah. All right, well, welcome back to Cage Match, : a roundabout way of meeting Nicolas Cage. I am Sean here with my co-host,
Nick.
And our producer,
Peter, and we're all sad.
We are sad because this week we are reviewing 2017's Mom and Dad and 2007's Next. You know what? I have a prediction for our immediate future. It's gonna be bad.
No, rewind it back. Now it's going to be good.
No, because we watched these movies twice. This wasn't the funnest week for us.
No, it's not a fun collection of movies. And it's not even like not fun the way 9/11 wasn't fun. Because I think we came out of 9/11 like generally feeling pretty decent about ourselves. But man, it's hard to come out of these last 2 weeks with any kind of like pride or
My only takeaway from this week was they were short.
yes.
So I was doing my rewatches today. I just got done with Mom and Dad, and when I went to start up Next, my rental had expired, and I was not paying another $4 to watch it again.
What a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just jump right into it. Let's start with Mom and Dad, which this week I wrote a synopsis for.
Hooray.
Parents be crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I mean, not wrong.
No, just for some reason, parents start killing their offspring. That is the premise of this film.
That's about how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of the happening with Mark Wahlberg, the Shyamalan sort of thing, where all of a sudden it's just like people are trying to kill themselves, but instead of themselves, it's their kids.
I said I was going to say a nice thing about this movie. And Mark Wahlberg isn't in it.
Hey, that's true. It was better for that.
Too bad.
Mark Wahlberg as like a science teacher is like a bridge too far for me. Nick Cage as like a car salesman or whatever he is in this, totally fine.
Mark Wahlberg as a pop star was a bridge too far for me.
Yeah, true. What about a big dick porn star? Didn't he do that too?
He did.
That tracks. That seems about right.
Okay.
So, Mom and Dad, 2017. What was the name of the director again?
Ryan Popov.
Ryan Popov.
That's not right.
Brian Taylor.
Brian Taylor.
I
knew
like
that wasn't
one
right.
of the syllables
You were
right.
close-ish.
Yeah.
Who we will be watching again as he directed Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. He also directed the Crank series. And what else was there? Another, and he did a bunch of the show Happy.
Yeah.
So this guy has a great pedigree for frantic action, which isn't served well in what's supposed to be a horror thriller.
As you started to say thriller, you just kind of went and I was like, is this supposed to be a 3D movie? Did I miss something about it?
Oh,
and it
man.
wasn't.
No.
I'm still just as disappointed. No more or less disappointed in this movie.
I think the highlight for me was, as I was watching it, I texted Nick and I said, am I going to see a baby get murdered?
Oh, that's where I kind of stopped my initial watch. And I'm like, this is tomorrow Sean's problem. Tonight, Sean does not have it in me. So Nick Cage stars as Brent. Selma Blair stars as his wife, Kendall, and Ann Winters, their daughter, Carly. They also have a son who is a kid, so fuck them. And the grandparents show up at some point.
Yeah.
There's the boyfriend too, I suppose.
Oh, yeah. And the only reason I even mentioned Ann Winters, because the whole time I was watching this movie, I'm like, where the fuck do I know her from? I'm like, was she in Color Out of Space? No, it's another ditzy blonde. No, she was in the most recent season of The Orville.
Oh, okay.
which is a really good show.
Nah.
A shitty cameo was Dr. Oz. Fuck that guy.
Oh man, the
Oh.
Dr. Oz. Yeah,
Okay, so real quick, daughter.
that's pretty quick.
Yeah,
Daughter.
I'm trying to get through this one. Brent and Kendall, they're sick of their humdrum lives. They're not really getting on with their kids, and things aren't great. Brent used to be,
Horny.
king shit of Fuck Mountain. Opening credits, they use the footage of him younger him getting tits in the face while like doing donuts.
And it totally looked like the high character from Raising Arizona.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It really did.
Nailed it. Nailed that high look.
and then suddenly parents start going crazy, killing their kids. Carly's got to get home with her boyfriend to save her little brother, her 9-year-old brother, who, why isn't he in school?
Very good question.
And
Never answered.
He's too stupid.
yeah,
Wow.
fucking. There is a part in this movie where I'm like, finally, we get a fucking good kid with his head on his shoulders. Nope.
Oh no, a terrible kid.
Yeah, terrible kid. Gets home to get her brother before her parents get home from work. Parents show up. Attempted murder ensues. What do you want to talk about, Nick?
I want to talk about what it was that he found and put in the Firebird. Like,
I assume it was a cat or some kind of a bunny.
I thought it was like a baby bird or something. 'Cause
Yeah.
The crows were tearing it apart. I
Yeah.
don't know.
they never show you, but like he just like Nick Cage just gets upset because obviously his Firebird smells and there's a dead animal in it.
Let's be real. That Firebird definitely smelled beforehand.
Yeah, but I think it smelled like something coppery or something. I don't know. Yeah, I thought it was like a hand. In my head canon, it was a hand. He found a hand, and the kid was just dumb enough to put it in a box and try to feed it like Fruit Loops.
You
and-
hear it for a minute.
oh, I never heard it.
Like when he first puts it in there and like he brings it like
Fruit Loops.
Does he put it in the box and it's just like,
I'm fairly certain I heard like a cat mewing or something, but I could be wrong.
does a cat mewing sound like?
Was that the noise it made?
I think so.
I'm fairly sure it didn't.
Headcanon.
You should probably rewatch it and find out.
Yeah, guess what? You get to.
We don't know that yet. Strong case to not do that. And then we get to the actual action part of this movie. Like the back half is the actual like trying to kill kids scene, which
I
will
would say, for the most part, they're pretty successful at killing kids.
Yeah, lots of people kill lots of kids.
well, yeah.
There's a lot of like giblets of children
Brent
in this movie.
and Kendall.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot. You don't see a lot of dead
Child
kids.
viscera,
There's a lot of like
the leftovers.
bloody keys being held in the air, being brought down in a stabbing motion. We see one girl get like
Suffocated.
in
Yeah.
a garbage bag.
One thing that I thought was kind of interesting, I don't want to give too much credit to anything in this movie, but like one thing that I thought was kind of interesting was the fact that like after killing the kids, they have all these parents being like interviewed on TV and shit, and they're just like, nah, I feel great.
Yeah.
Like I'm real sad for everyone else, but I feel good.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
that is creepy.
Yeah.
Like you just are driven to kill your progeny.
I
Yeah.
do want to say, I know you don't want to say anything good about this movie. I want to say one great thing about this movie, and that's Nick Cage line reads.
Yeah.
He goes full Cage in this movie.
He
Yeah,
does.
this movie is full of just like out there lines, and
Yeah.
he gives them to us pretty hard.
Yeah.
Especially when he's talking to the kid. Like he just says weird shit like
Right?
like telling your 9-year-old about like getting all that ass in the car and
And there are flashbacks to pre-insanity, and the way Nick Cage talked to his 9-year-old kid about like, this car was a pussy magnet.
yeah. Language, Dad.
Sorry, chick magnet. And that scene ends with the line, again, this is before any insanity. If you ever touch that car again, I'll kill you. Smiles and then just a stern face.
Yeah. There were so many God. This was such a well directed and put together movie. I feel so good about this.
What?
Positive affirmations. They're what's gonna get me through this.
Yeah.
And alcohol.
I should have brought more Sparkle Buddies.
Yeah.
This week's episode brought to you by alcoholism, because otherwise we wouldn't be here.
Nah, this is fine. I was just gonna say, like, this movie's just fucking ridiculous. Like, you got the boyfriend who you're introduced to in the beginning because, like, he has to go take his like
PSAT.
PSATs, which is just ridiculous because it's like taking the PSATs and then like the test proctor is just sitting there like taking it. I mean, obviously they take it pretty seriously. It's the PSATs after all. And then like all these parents are out there like waiting to kill their kids at the end, just like staring through the windows. And that's kind of weird.
Yeah, like why did doors stop them so much?
Yeah, they were very content to just stare like there and in the nursery at the hospital as well, just like watching and breathing.
Yeah.
Just all this like bottled rage of these fathers looking at their infant children. It's like open the door.
Yeah, I don't, because it wasn't locked. Because when he leaves, the door
just walks past
closes,
them.
and then they open it again.
Right? They're like, oh, that's doors.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But he like takes this test and he leaves, and like I just want to talk about this character because this character I think upsets me the most because they make him sound like he's just some big smart kid, and then every time he's on scene he's just like completely washed away. Like they go back to Nick Cage's house, and this is after like the parents have started freaking out and they're like trying to find the brother and get out of there. And Nick Cage shows up and he gets all pissed and he's like just in Damon's face, like, what are you doing here? I know what kids your age are doing. Like, best not be diddling my daughter. He didn't say it, but it was implied. And he's like chasing the kid and then like wallops him and like kills him. And you're like sitting there like, oh, that's fucked up. And obviously he's not dead because he's going to come back later in another scene fight.
So this kid gets shit kicked out of him this entire movie.
Yeah.
He's the only kid we actually see viscerally get fucked up. He gets his arm cut by a broken bottle, gets his head smashed into the tile floor, gets a coat hanger through the cheek.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was gnarly.
Then gets a meat tenderizer to the head, knocked over a banister, hits the stairs on the way down, and then cracks his head on the couch before hitting the floor.
Yeah. And apparently he wasn't dead then either.
No, he gets to come. He gets back at the mom though with a shovel later. So good for you, kid.
There was a shoveling.
I guess. I'm glad he didn't die. Like the first time I watched it, I was so upset with this movie. I didn't even notice that he came back and like hit the mom with a shovel at the end of the movie. I was just like, fuck this. Like, why do they keep bringing him back and just killing him? And I guess I drank enough. I didn't care anymore.
Speaking of quote unquote surprise characters, one of the other things that I texted Nick about when I was watching this is I was like, please tell me that the grandparents are the ones that come and save the day by killing the parents.
I forgot about the grandparents until like 2 minutes before the doorbell rings because I'm like, wait, weren't they supposed to have dinner with the grandparents? What's that going to look like? Ding dong. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Instantly maced in the face.
Instantly maced in the
and
face.
stabbed.
Okay, so you yourselves are trying to kill your kids. It's been all over the news, and you're aware that people are trying to kill their kids.
Mm-hmm.
Would you not stop to think that when your parents showed up, wait a minute.
Well, I don't think they actually think about the condition of killing their kids.
But the mom does listen to a radio report about it when she's driving home.
Yeah, I think it kind of goes in and out. Like,
yeah, I think they all have the brains like real bad.
Yeah, when they're all fogged up, I don't think it matters to them.
Peter, I thought you had a really good idea this week about like, let's talk about, how these movies could have been better.
Yeah, how would you fix these?
One of two ways, and they both involve the same thing. So there's a lot of like put on like the flashback scenes. One of the better like scenes in this film is when Brent is trying to build his rumpus room and like winds up smashing the newly made pool table. And he completely has this freak out about how, he used to score all the time. And now he's, now they're just mom and dad. If you would have had the insanity kind of build up rather than just going straight to murder kids, but start normal, kind of what The Color Outer Space did, where over the movie, they're getting shorter and shorter with whatever's going on with them until it just turns into a rage. Because why are you trying to make us care about these characters when they're just supposed to be psychopaths? So do that, or the other solution, remove the B plot and just be a slasher. Just have mom and dad be crazy and let's not know anything about the parents.
I would prefer it that way because I think if you tried to ease into it, this movie would end up being like an hour 45, hour 50, and that's,
It probably could have been about an hour and 10.
Yeah.
It could have. There were tons of scenes that didn't need to be. Like the whole building the pool table scene.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There were some good Cage moments throughout that, which...
Yeah, I mean, it gave us...
really do need those.
Good performance. Yeah, we need it.
For this podcast specifically.
But the movie gives us the elements we want. We get some like good Nicolas Cage freakouts. We get like obviously a hyper violent kind of just wackadoodle movie. Which who doesn't want that?
Except the violence are kept right before an act of violence happens. It cuts to a flashback of mom and dad being good parents. I'm like, no, just give us the fucking action.
Yeah, I never really cared like what was falling apart inside of their family.
No.
I just wanted to see like,
because that had nothing to do with their current situation.
yeah,
In fact, the only time I was kind of on board with this film is the last 5 minutes when grandma and grandpa show up. And then you have like this Tom and Jerry style chase where Nick Cage is chasing his son and grandpa is chasing Nick Cage with a knife. And the movie more or less ends with mom throwing grandma in front of the Firebird as it's like peeling out of the garage.
yeah. The kid does a real sick like whip it, just like,
No, Nick Cage is driving.
oh yeah, that's right.
And
Well,
grandpa's
he is technically a son.
yeah,
True.
Grandpa's on the roof, so grandma goes ass over tea kettle over the car in slow motion, and then grandpa then the Firebird crashes into another car, and grandpa goes forward and head splatters open.
Yeah, that was a melon for sure.
Yeah. And I'm like, all right, this is finally saying what's on the box.
I bet there was some kind of MPAA thing about like killing just killing children throughout the whole movie, and that's why they didn't want to show it. Like, you can't have that much violence against children. So that's why the only violence we like actually see, short of that one girl getting suffocated with a plastic bag.
That is probably the most graphic scene of like kid murder, right? The plastic bag. Like,
I mean, it's just everybody getting chased. The only other like actual violence you're like really confronted with there is the cop beating up a parent, which is weird because the cop was just going ham on a parent and like didn't even care that he was punching their face in. So that violence actually didn't add up with the rest of the movie.
But what did add up with this movie? I will say
if you're gonna present us with a world, at least make everything fit and stick within the rules of that world.
So,
true.
Again, the only kid we really do see get fucked up is also the only minority character in this movie.
Oh yeah,
good point. Yeah.
The black kid is the only one we see visibly like horribly get fucked up.
Yeah, it's Damon, the boyfriend.
He keeps getting hurt, but the coat hanger was wild.
Yeah.
Coat hanger was wild. That was one of the few notes that I had in this thing.
After the initial Nick Cage freak out, he trips over one of the kids' toys, and the daughter and brother are in the basement. Mom's trying to get in with a Sawzall, because it's Sawzall, which they say a lot.
Yeah, twice, but
Nick Cage has it a couple times towards the end.
She really hacks at that door with no skill at all. Just
and then
to be fair, trying to get a Sawzall blade to go into something at that angle is just fucking terrible.
But then Nick Cage is like, if you got to do something right, you got to do it yourself. And he goes upstairs to go get his gun, which isn't in the box. You hear 2 shots, and mom starts screaming, and you see the 9-year-old in the basement with the gun.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, awesome, they have a gun. This will be over quickly. 2 shots, and then the gun is gone.
Yeah, they never have it again.
Yeah.
The parents try and like gas the kids, like, which I thought was clever.
Yeah.
And then I liked the Home Alone style booby trap the daughter made, like taping matches to the back of the door over like the strike paper, which blows up Nick Cage, which is pretty fun. But then they go
I wanted him to be more burned afterward.
I did too. But they go into a crawl space to get away from the explosion and somehow wind up in the attic.
Yeah, they did some kind of like climbing in that wall. Some kind of plenum space got them to the attic.
I do want to just quickly talk about the ending of this movie.
Please.
I want to really slowly talk about the ending.
So, the ending of this movie. So
actually, we need to draw this episode out, so please go slower.
So after mom gets shoveled and Nick Cage passes out after hitting a car, it cuts to Nicolas Cage and mom being tied up in the basement. The kids are there just watching. Leave. It's daylight out now. Go away. Go anywhere, because no one else is trying to kill you. But the kids are there, and they're saying all the parent lines like, we want to trust you, but you're making it hard. And brother's like, I love you, mom. I love you, dad. And mom's like, we love you more than anything. And then Nick Cage is like, just sometimes we want to. Credits. That's how this movie ends.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw that, because again, the last 5 minutes of this movie, I was on board. And then that happened. I just text Peter, I fucking hate this movie.
I mean, like, from a fundamental perspective, like, it's shot well. Like, the
Yeah.
gore is done, you know, in
Yeah.
a pretty effective way.
Again, this director's really good at like frantic action.
Everything's well constructed, just not well written.
Yeah.
Ooh, I would also take out all like the static. Because apparently there's like
Oh,
static
right.
on TV and static on the radio, and that's what seems to trigger people.
Yeah, but it's just confusing.
But it doesn't do anything. It doesn't add to anything.
Yeah, there's no real indication of what causes it, and that's frustrating.
Yeah. So just in terms of world building, doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
In terms of character, doesn't do anything.
I would rather, like, if they took out all of that static and everything, if they just kind of like shrugged and said, I don't know, maybe just every parent in the world had had enough.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the day that they're just like, fuck, like one person did it. Like, oh, well, it starts out with that person who leaves their car on the
On the
train
track,
tracks and like lets their car get run over with their kid in it.
Like make it a purge situation, which is I thought what we were gonna get because
I thought that's what it was gonna be too.
like the blurb of this movie is, you know, a brother and sister have to survive 24 hours, you know, while their parents go insane. But they never don't not go insane.
Right.
You guys had mentioned
and we never see what happens after 24 hours
yeah.
because it just doesn't get that far.
So you did mention the Dr. Oz cameo, which super weird.
Yeah, but accurate.
Yeah.
True.
The other super weird yet accurate cameo is when they're watching the news and there's the panel of 3 people on like CNN or whatever. The middle one, bald Irish guy, I'm like, who the fuck is that guy? Why do I know that guy? That's Grant Morrison, the creator of the comic book Happy. He also wrote
Oh.
X-Men, Animal Man, Justice League, like prolific comic author. And I'm like, all right, he worked with Dude on Happy. That kind of makes sense. Weird cameo. But what I loved is he's supposed to be like a talking head on a news program, and he's just wearing his like normal Grant Morrison leather jacket.
I don't have anything like about this movie that impressed me.
What about the best line?
So, it's what, Nicolas Cage talking to the boyfriend?
Yeah, boyfriend Damon.
And and he's just, you know, confronting him in the kitchen about like, oh, you know, kids and this and that. And, you know, I know what you kids are all up to. He's like, now the world you kids are living in, the things you've seen on the internet, mouth to dildo, dildo to ass, ass to ass. Hi, Brent, anal beads. It's good.
It's a good line.
I love ass to ass.
Yeah. I like mouth to dildo.
Yeah, mouth to
It's like,
dildo.
that's one that I think I'll have to start Googling because I haven't seen enough of it and this movie says I need it.
I really liked when he's smashing up the pool table and singing the hokey pokey. But that's not my quote. My quote is when mom first gets home, goes to the door to try and like coerce the kids out of the basement. And she's being like, it's okay, honey. It's okay. And come on out. And Nick Cage just runs up the door, starts banging on it and screams, your motherfucking mother said open this door. And motherfuckers, you're going to open this motherfucking door. Followed by him breaking down, crying on the floor next to the door. Carly! Joshy!
The only quote I had for this is after his dad attacks him, he's just shouting, "Get your claws off me, you fucking filthy dinosaur!"
Yeah,
Ah.
that was good.
All right, so Venn diagram. What do you guys think?
It's a bad movie.
Bad movie.
Performance.
Bad performance.
Fun line reads.
Fun line
Fun
reads.
Yeah.
insanity. Like him screaming after the leg stab was like really funny.
This
but
would be a great movie for just clips.
Yes.
Show some
Totally.
clips to
Yeah.
somebody. Like, just watch a couple clips and you'll get enough out of this movie. You'll be like, oh, okay, I kind of get it.
Yeah, there's probably like a Cage supercut from Mom and Dad. If not, I'll make one.
Yeah.
Fuck it, why not?
Yeah,
For the
I mean,
patrons.
it'll be like 5 minutes long,
Yeah,
max.
Yeah.
max.
That's the best parts of the movie. So you're welcome.
Yeah. So yeah, bad all around.
Yeah, it's too bad. I feel like this one really had potential in my mind to be something fun and campy, and it just missed like
It
every
needed to be
mark.
campier.
Yeah, my expectations were way off on this one. Well, you see something blind, you just don't know. So it looked a lot better on paper.
Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of things that look worse on paper, next.
I don't know about that one, Sean. Let's take that again.
That was pretty rough.
Go back
Yeah.
in time 2 minutes.
No, this is me predicting the future and me trying out material.
Oh, I thought that was his best. It's like everything he
all right,
had.
now here's one I actually wrote. Next's up.
God damn. Can we just get Hornback to be the co-host on this?
Yep. Bring him
No,
in.
this was my idea. You're stuck with me.
No, that's fine. He can take my spot.
Who could replace that?
So
No one farts like I fart.
the movie Next. Nick Cage plays Chris Johnson, aka Frank Cadillac. Jessica Biel is Liz Cooper, and Julianne Moore is Kaylee Ferris. Nick Cage plays a off-strip Vegas magician whose whole shtick is he can tell you what's going to happen before it happens.
Yeah, he can tell you what's going to happen in his life
Yeah,
before it happens.
Within 2 minutes.
within
Yeah.
2 minutes. And that's the whole conceit of this film is he can predict the next 2 minutes of what's about to happen to him. And that's the only rule in this movie.
Which again,
The only rule. Remember this, because it'll never come up.
yeah, I mean, that in and of itself could be interesting, but then they come up with this dumb fucking plot that makes no sense and doesn't involve 2 minutes in the future.
So, the FBI wants Frank Cadillac or Chris Johnson
I think just call him Frank Cadillac. It's
Frank
way
Cadillac.
better.
wants
way better.
Frank Cadillac to help them predict where a stolen nuclear weapon is going to go off and where it is in LA. They know he can only predict things 2 minutes into the future, but they want him for this.
Well, they don't really have like the whole scope of like his power.
No,
right, like
but
she kind of is cracking the code.
But she
Yeah.
she cracks the code that
She's
it's
like-
no more than 2 minutes really early on. Just yeah, there you go.
Oh, you got it on your laptop.
Go back in time.
The whole
Embarrassing.
so the whole premise of this film is the FBI is trying to like capture this guy to predict where this weapon's going to be. Don't worry about it because that is never comes up. It does at the end, but it doesn't. The main movie is about. Don't worry, time travel. The main movie is Nicolas
Time
Cage.
travel won't fix that sentence.
Is talking time travel. Yeah, that sentence describes this movie perfectly. God damn it. Jessica Biel is a woman he has seen in visions from further than 2 minutes ahead. He meets her, immediately woos her. Terrorists show up.
I mean, he took a couple shots at wooing her.
Yeah, he gets punched in the face. He, I don't know, is a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do like how he Doctor Strange to that one and his
Oh,
best
Dormammu.
Yeah.
his best outcome for it was just, I don't know, better just let him punch me in the face after saying some creepy shit about being her future.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, okay. I mean,
Some credit to this movie. I really do like the way they use the 2 minute loop, like the 2 minute predictive thing.
sometimes.
Sometimes. Like when he meets Jessica Biel for the first time, he goes up to her, tries to talk to her, and she just completely blows him off. And it cuts back to him just staring at her from the bar.
She's like, fuck off.
And like he does it a few more times and she keeps telling him to leave her alone. And one point he just starts to stand up and she's just like, no.
Yeah.
And then her boyfriend, Kendall, walks in. That's the connective tissue of these two
Oh,
movies.
yeah.
There's two people named Kendall.
His name was Kendall?
His name was Kendall. I sent you
yeah.
a text.
I
You're like,
know.
her ex's name is Kendall.
That confused me because I thought you were talking about mom
No.
and dad.
No. She had an ex named Kendall. And as grandma and mom and dad said, Kendall's not even a real name.
Yeah. Oh,
Beats
can
up
I
Kendall.
talk about the
Doesn't work.
Hold on. Can I talk about the him being at this diner every day, like at the exact like what 6:10 or some shit like
Yeah,
that?
like 608.
Yeah,
Here we go.
twice a day, and he's just housing martinis, and I'm sitting there thinking, boy, I hope he doesn't like martinis, but in his
It's in the
vision,
vision.
he was drinking a martini, so now he's like, oh, I guess I gotta drink a martini or else it can't happen.
You cannot get a good diner martini.
No, he's like,
That's our next podcast.
like a
diner
Denny's.
martini. Actually, that kind of is our next podcast.
Sort of, yeah.
something with a moon's over my hammy
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
theme to it.
There's a mini pancake.
Whoa!
Aw. Wait,
All
go
right,
back
we're-
in time. 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Hey, Nick. In 2 minutes, you're gonna knock over your sparkle buddy.
No, my beverage.
We'll be right back.
Well, this is about exactly how I thought it was going to go.
I'm having a blast.
So here we are, 2 minutes back in time.
No,
No sparkle buddies have been spilt.
No.
My phone is sticky.
No, it's not. This is 2 minutes in the past.
Oh, it was sticky in the past too. Hi-yo, I'm home alone a lot.
Hey guys, I just had a vision of the future, and this episode's not going to be that good.
I don't know. I think we're nailing it.
Well, welcome back to Cage Match: Roundabout Way of Meeting Nicolas Cage.
Today we're talking about next.
Yeah, and housing martinis and
I'm your host, Hornback.
Wait a minute.
Can't use that. Doxing. Go back in time 2 minutes.
Okay, necking martinis.
Yeah.
He meets Jessica Biel. There's a whole plot point about her teaching on a reservation.
Yeah, why did they do that?
it was to set up the FBI using the photo, like the traffic cam, to get the permit number for her reservation access. So they
That's-
could track her by that permit.
They
So
could
dumb.
have
It could have
just
been a fucking
license plate.
license plate.
No, there was no license plate on the front.
Yeah, I understand that there was no license.
They could have just written that there was a license plate on the front. That's how movie making works.
But then there's no obstacles to overcome.
And we don't know that she's a nice person.
Yeah, because we got to know she's a nice person.
Yeah.
I will
Also,
say-
it gives her
Because
a
otherwise
reason
we wouldn't
to be
care
like,
when she blows up later.
Okay, yeah. My favorite part of this movie is when Jessica Biel just explodes.
Okay, that was great. And also
I laughed so hard.
the news reporter just sitting there and the cameraman's like unflinching. He's like, we're going to keep filming the spot where the body
Zoom
was.
in.
Yeah. And the news reporter is just like having an emotional breakdown because she just saw somebody explode. And the cameraman's like, I don't want to miss a thing.
How often do you see someone just explode?
I don't know, but I think the director for the news program would be like, hey man, shift that camera to the other side. Like just pan so that like the reporter's on the other side of the shot. It's like, oh, boop, you're not looking at an exploded lady anymore.
I don't know. That's when like the card has to come up with the elevator music that says, you know, we'll be right back. We're experiencing technical difficulties,
Yeah.
like news bursting at the seams or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something really out of like distasteful.
Bursting at the seams is rude, Sean.
That's what I was going for.
Mm.
Also in this movie, there's a group of European terrorists.
I got a real question about these guys.
They're loosely Russian, right?
Yeah.
They're French. I was watching this with subtitles on because
Maybe
the
they're
mixing on this is
Croatian.
terrible. But it's like it's always speaking French, until one part where someone is definitely speaking German and the subtitle said foreign language.
What was with those guys? Like, they obviously knew Nick Cage had some kind of power.
Everyone did.
Because they were trying to like get to Cage also and like trying to assassinate
Well,
him. Why did they know?
Originally, it was just they wanted him because the FBI wanted him, but they didn't know why. And then suddenly they knew why. Also, why is Columbo in this movie? I've never seen Peter laugh this much.
I can't stand this shit.
Oh man.
Oh my god, you were red, dude.
This movie is so fucking dumb.
And it feels so long too.
For an hour and a half, it is so goddamn long.
Man.
All right, then where are we? Has he used his time power to fuck her yet?
That's about where we're at.
Okay.
Like he,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they get a cabin. A stabbing cabin.
And then he's like, I'm gonna sleep in the car because I'm a nice guy, and he does.
Yeah, but he tosses and turns, and she feels bad, so she fucks him.
Yeah, more or less, that's how that story goes.
Yeah. She's like, oh man, this stranger can't sleep in the car. Better bone down.
And then the FBI approaches her when she goes out to get breakfast foods and is like, you're dating a sociopath.
That Egg McMuffin is for a psycho. He's using his magic mind powers to get in your pants.
So
She's like, he did do that.
so she has to drug him, but she has to drug him exactly 2 minutes after he goes out of the room,
Or else he knows.
or else he'll know.
Yeah.
But wouldn't he know? Wouldn't he like see 2 minutes in the future when he like drank and then started feeling woozy? I guess they said it takes 5 minutes to work. Again, the rules don't make sense. But then she doesn't want to drug him and tells him the truth. And he proves that he's a magic man by like saying the lines of whatever's going to be on TV and then changing the channel.
Which doesn't, I don't think that would make me feel less like you were magic raping me.
No, not at all. But I'm just saying that's a cool way to show off that you have a power.
Yeah.
And then we get to the terrible CGI train rolling down the hill scene.
Oh man, that
Which-
was so cool.
It went
So
from
many barrels.
also that's where it goes from like using like HD cameras to just using 35 millimeter film because it was over 110 degrees and they were worried about ruining the equipment and the heat.
Because of 2007.
Yeah. Which I'm like, okay, this scene was definitely filmed for 3D. So there's this whole like
Was this movie filmed for 3D?
probably 2007.
Oh man.
Seems like it would be, yeah.
And that whole rolling down the hill when all the logs come down.
That
But
would
then
be the only scene that was like 3Dable.
yeah, didn't stop them. They were mad about 3D.
Okay.
The French terrorists are there again. And again, there's like a cool thing where he's running down the hill. He doesn't know they're there, but like, you know, the guy takes a shot and he like just leans back right before it would have hit him.
Right.
Then he
Yeah,
looks at
he
the guy.
gets the
Yeah.
sense while he's running. He learns that they're there. But I want to say like the 2 times Nick Cage avoids danger on the hill before he gets to the bottom are so great. Like they take the shot at him with the sniper and he just kind of like does a sweet like lean back like just at the last second like ugh, and lets it fly past his chest. And then the second time when all that shit's coming down and he like runs up to this one point and he stops and then he just does that like super dramatic like Thor kneel like ugh,
Oh yeah.
and
Right as
just like
the
ducks
train
down
goes over him.
into it. Yeah.
Or no,
It's
that's
like,
when the car's rolling past him.
yeah, the Jeep flips over. And why couldn't he have just like run up there and been like, okay,
Yeah.
I ducked down now.
Yeah. No, I noticed that too. Can we just talk about how sick his golden jacket is?
That jacket's pretty rad.
Okay.
During my
We got to talk about the meme then, because this is the movie where the Nick Cage bird hair meme came from.
So, in my research for this movie, that golden jacket is a reference to the Philip K. Dick short story, The Golden Man, which this movie is supposedly based on.
Boo.
That is 100% not true, random guy on IMDb.
Well, it's
Oh, okay.
the
yes,
PK
yeah.
Dick story is about a man who can see a limited range into his future.
Yeah,
That's it.
no,
That's the entire basis.
I know. I'm just saying, the fact that someone on the internet said the jacket is a reference to that, I find.
They said the jacket
Yeah,
was a reference to
his
that?
Yeah, that's
his
dumb as
gold
fuck.
jacket is a reference to the Golden Man.
Pretty sure the reference to the Golden Man is the fact that he can see into his own future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he gets to the bottom of the hill.
Internet people are dumb.
Saves the FBI agent from being crushed by the series of events he started. The series of events he started more than 2 minutes ago. They capture him. And again, at this point, they know 2 minutes in the future. Their plan for getting him to figure out where the bomb's going to go off isn't terrible. They're just like, the news is going to cover it, so we're just going to put on CNN and force you to watch it.
Yeah, but I mean,
Again,
the conceit
2 minute
of that is
leeway.
just like, yeah, nobody's going to be able to stop the nuke within 2 minutes.
But the thing that killed me about this entire thing, so like he has this vision of Jessica Biel, right?
Mhm.
In this diner. And he's going there every day at 6:08 or
Yeah.
whatever the fuck, twice a day. And it's because he only sees his own future in the 2 minute increments except pertaining to her.
where he
Which
saw...
is the stupidest fucking concept, because then all of a sudden he can see deeply into the future because she getting blown up that he sees on TV
happens long.
way in the
Yeah.
future.
It was a couple hours. Yeah.
Right. So it's like what's the point of this 2-minute bullshit? Just don't do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they needed to adhere to the original story for artistic credibility.
Yeah, credibility was the big concern with this movie.
Yeah.
So the whole time I'm watching this, I'm like, this would make a really good 2007 USA like programming 12 episode like serial. Think of a Burn Notice.
I knew you were going to
Or
say
a
Burn
monk.
Notice. Go back 2 minutes.
But just like, where you have a guy who can see, who has to just solve like crimes of the week. Pretty cool. And I'm like, and you could show him like having to like sit there and like make every decision and see what those 2 minutes are, which we kind of do get at the end where they have like a multiple man style. He's like, I got to find her. And he starts walking down a hall and then he splits into two people as he's like predicting which way he's going to go. But then those people start predicting where they're going to go.
Yeah.
So he could see into the future forever, essentially.
Yeah, within a 2-minute mark.
But then don't they stack? Like, if I make a version of me at 1:59, does that get 2 minutes?
See what I'm saying?
You would only be able to go back to the point
1
where
second,
you
yeah.
made that one. So you pretty much, to be able to go back to that original point, he had to search the whole building within 2 minutes all those times.
So
because it was really...
That also sounds unfeasible.
It was less like he was making additionals of himself. He was just making different choices.
making
and
different choices and seeing where
overlapped
those...
all of the choices at
I know.
once.
I understand. I'm just...
Yeah, I think that part actually was kind of cool.
That worked.
You're
I liked
confusing the audience, Sean. They rely on us
They do
for
not.
strict adherence to facts.
Okay, the only thing that I liked from one of those scenes, maybe it was when he was escaping from the feds,
Mhm.
but he like runs out into a hallway and biffs a dude with a baton,
Mhm.
like just wings it down a hallway, and the guy's like running across and just gets nailed.
Well, and again, like
Like,
a
nice.
fun way to use this power for an action movie is just you know what's going to happen before it happens. So yeah,
Did you see The Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise and
no,
Emily
I
Blunt?
know of it, but I
The movie, it's actually a pretty fun movie, and it's a time loop situation where like he dies, he comes back to life, he runs the same thing again, he gets slightly better, he dies, etc., etc., etc. Like I think in that scene when they're fighting the terrorists, they could have done more of that, like seeing the failures and then coming up with cool success versus just like him, like slyly being like sniper up there.
Oh, we should
Yeah.
say that the terrorists have Jessica Biel. That's why she gets blown up.
Yeah.
So
But
they're-
we should
Or
also
does she
say
get blown
that
up?
Groundhog's Day is a way better version of this movie.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So they're trying to find
No Jessica Biel.
All Groundhog's
So
Day.
he'll help the feds find the bomb if they help him save Jessica Biel. So they're in this warehouse killing terrorists, finding Jessica Biel. As soon as she's safe, they're like, "Oh, the bomb's probably here." They open up the container it used to be in. It wasn't there. They're like, "Where's it going to be?" And then Nick Cage goes, "Uh-oh, I messed up.
Yeah, I made a mistake.
I made a mistake." And then you see LA get nuked.
yeah.
That nuke CGI is so fucking bad.
Now remember, he can see 2 minutes
They
into the
should have
future.
just nuked LA for
For real.
authenticity.
Yeah, right.
Remember, he can only see 2 minutes in the future, and then suddenly he wakes up in the bed in the motel with Jessica Biel before the FBI showed up.
Yeah, because he just saw like her whole future, and it's like, oh fuck me, I don't understand this movie.
No, because what he does is he goes outside, talks to the Fed. She has to be left out of it. She says, okay, they get in a car, drive off, and that's the end of the movie. They never solve the nuke problem.
True.
What? I thought there was more after that.
No,
Nope.
that's the credits.
Yeah, the credits.
That would go backwards, which I thought was kind of cute.
It would be cool if they truly went backwards, but they only ran down instead of being from the end forward.
I stopped watching it.
Good
so
point.
Yeah.
I rewatched the credits just to make sure I knew.
But so the whole premise of this film is they want him to find a nuke. The nuke goes off, but that's only a dream. So he's gonna help them. So the movie ends at the start.
well, at the middle.
The middle. Ends at the fucking.
So at least he has that going for him.
True.
But that's it. This had to have been a TV pilot at one point,
Probably.
or a script for a TV pilot at one point, because that's just a dog shit way to end this film.
All right, Sean, you've got 2 minutes to give me a better movie.
Get rid of the A plot. Get rid of the nuke plot. The government just wants him because of his power. They know for reasons Jessica Biel is a key part of it, so they kidnap Jessica Biel. and he has to use his powers to break into their facility and save her. That's it. That's a better movie.
Nick, you've got 2 minutes to make a better movie.
I mean, I can do it in less time. This weekend I watched 2004's Daredevil with Ben Affleck, and that was a better movie than this.
So just make Daredevil instead.
Yeah. And last night I watched the Snake Eyes G.I. Joe movie.
Oh,
It was also terrible, but better than this movie.
fair enough.
Just Daredevil made me think, rest in peace, Ray Stevenson. He wasn't in Daredevil, but he was the Punisher at one point.
Mm.
He was also Volstagg of the Warriors 3 and the Thor movies. No connection to this film. I just wanted to be like, he was a good actor. I liked him. So yeah, that's how you make a better movie.
You just make something else.
Yeah, you make something else.
Don't do this.
But also, the original script didn't have the terrorist subplot in it. The original script was just him running from the government, and then they added the terrorists to put in a villain of this film.
The
Aside
villain
from
couldn't have been the government?
Yeah, not in this country.
Also, originally there were 10 bombs.
That's too many bombs.
Yeah. Considering the point that they don't do anything with the first bomb in this film anyway. Like the bomb is irrelevant to this movie.
Yeah, but he goofed up.
But it was a dream.
Had a boo-boo.
It was a future dream possibility.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Either way, dumb.
Yeah.
This movie was terrible.
Yeah. Quotes?
When he's describing to Jessica Biel his stage name's like Frank Cadillac. I just combined two things I loved: Frankenstein and Cadillacs.
It's a good way to go about it. Like, if I had to name myself, I would probably name myself after things I enjoyed as well.
What would you pick?
If I had to choose two things...
Rhubarb Barcelona.
I do like rhubarb. I've never been to Barcelona.
Neither have I, but
Actually,
I think I like it.
The Barcelona Olympics were by far my least favorite, so fuck them. I don't know, I'd probably choose, like, Donkey Show Honey Pot.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Quit Kaiser so saying this.
I can't help it.
Stop looking at things in Peter's basement.
Yeah,
If
stop looking
we-
at my donkey show.
If we'd stop recording in Tijuana, we wouldn't have these problems. But I'm not allowed back in America yet. Yeah. So my quote, Nick Cage is just like explaining to the fucking feds, like how to go about this like extraction, and one of the guys like tries to like, oh, okay, so we're gonna go in and do this, and Cage is just like, if you could just be quiet and do exactly what I say, I'll save your life. It's like, ugh, God, that's such a dumb line. I loved it.
So I want to talk about briefly how your brain tried to save you from how bad this movie is by rearranging the order of things to where this movie had an ending.
Yeah, your version was actually
better.
I thought there was an ending after the non-ending.
No.
Nope.
Mm,
I like how your brain was just like, this is dumb. We don't agree with this reality. We'll make up our own.
yeah.
So the other connected tissue of both these films is they don't end. They don't have endings.
Yeah,
Two
that's
characters
true.
named Kendall and no endings.
Well,
That's it.
no satisfactory endings.
They just
The grandpa got an ending.
Yeah, he did. That melon went blap. So, Nick, what do you want to suggest to go forward? Because I'll probably just agree with whatever you say.
Mom and dad.
I was going to say next.
Yeah. You know, Mom and Dad just has more Nicolas Cage performance I can enjoy.
Yeah,
The movie sucked, but at least I've got that.
It's got some
There's
great.
nothing in
It's
next.
got great full on Cage.
Yeah.
So for the sake of full Cage, I will bequeath my vote for next.
Unless you just want to move Primal forward.
No.
instead. Okay.
I'd rather watch either
from
of
the
these
dead.
movies. I'd rather watch either of these movies again.
That's actually a lie. You're just digging in your heels.
You're just being mean now.
Yeah.
I didn't like.
You're just
No, I
being
didn't.
hateful.
I
didn't
did
like Primal
not like
either.
Primal at all.
Nobody liked Primal. I mean, I liked Primal, but
I think Adam liked Primal.
yeah,
Adam
that
liked his
doesn't surprise
experience.
me. Adam's got like a real Primal kind of like aura about him.
Yeah.
Adam enjoyed his time watching it with John.
That's fair. Yeah.
And isn't that what this is all about?
No, that's what
Watching
season.
movies with John? I
Yeah.
hope.
That's season 2.
Boy, I hope after we finish this
We
podcast,
kidnap John.
Movies
lets
with
us
John.
watch a movie with him.
No, but part of season 2 is us getting to watch these movies together finally,
For sure. Yeah.
which will make Mom and Dad a lot more palatable.
We'll watch half of these movies together. 50% of them will be eliminated.
I mean, the movies that go forward, obviously.
Like Primal. Yeah, I know.
No.
I'm just going to bring Primal and I'm going to put it in. It's going to be like every time I make it.
It's like, God damn it, Nick, is this Primal again?
It's like every time I try to trick Pete into watching Fast and the Furious 4, I just put it in.
Amazing. I want you to do the effort of like actually cutting the beginning of the regular movie that we think we're gonna watch, and then after the like intro credits or whatever, it's just like, God, it's
Just
fucking
straight into
Primal.
Yeah.
All right.
White Jag.
So
White Jag.
you heard it
One
here.
in a million.
You heard it here, people. Mom and Dad is the winner.
It's so
Best
good.
movie. Definitely watch it. No.
I mean, of both these films, it does have the most enjoyable 5 minutes of both these films.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to talk about one more thing in Next real quick. So he's a stage magician. That's how he earns his living. But then he also hustles casinos using his 2-minute power to read cards. He's got to get out of the casino because he knows they're onto him because of his 2-minute power. So he escapes the casino in a fun little, like, predicting where he's going to go
Yeah, that
kind
was
of way.
kind of fun.
Steals a car,
That part was dumb.
goes to see Columbo,
Yeah.
who might be his dad.
Eh.
Absolutely no clue about the relation.
Yeah, but goes to see Columbo. Peter Falk, rest in peace. He's dead, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dead to me.
He
Fuck
knows
you,
what
Columbo.
he knows what he did.
We can solve this mystery.
Real complicated opinions on Columbo going around here.
The cops are chasing him. There's this whole thing. I'm like, the man collects a paycheck in Vegas. He works for another casino. You know he does because when they are watching him on the camera, they'll be like, isn't that Frank Cadillac? He works over at blah, blah, blah. Why are you putting in all this effort when you can just show up at his job tomorrow?
Just go get him. It's so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Hey, so next episode, though, we've got some interesting stuff. A number 4 seed against a 13 seed with Con Air and Rage.
Ooh.
And my younger brother is our special guest.
Ooh.
So that should be interesting.
These are
Our
three.
very special guest.
Yes.
These are 3 things I know nothing about.
Con Air?
No,
You've never seen Con Air?
never seen Con Air.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We did talk about that, I think. You missed Con Air and The Rock?
Yeah.
That's fucking wild.
I can
don't-
understand not watching The Rock.
It was one of those things. Like I didn't, fucking when did Con Air come out?
1997. I don't know.
If I had to guess, I think the 3 movies I watched the most growing up were Men in Tights, maybe Con Air. I watched Con Air a lot, and Stripes.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this a little bit in one of the other episodes, I think. Go back 2 minutes. Well, fuck. Any last thoughts, or should I do my little outro and then you guys outro?
Don't watch these movies.
Don't.
No, go ahead, watch them.
Yeah, just also know that they suck shit.
If you want to watch Mom and Dad, it's on Hulu.
Yep.
I know what we're going to be cutting out of this episode.
Let's go back 2 minutes to
Good night, everybody.
Please rate, review, subscribe. Thank you. It really does fucking help us. We are on Reddit at Cage Match Pod. We are on Instagram at Cage_Match_pod. If you are interested in supporting us, we are on Patreon at Cage Match. And thank you to our Sparkle buddies, Josh, Sean, Josie, Rico, Matt, and Adam. And to our cage dancers, Ira, John, and our new dancer entering the stage, Freeman.
Love you, Freeman.
Thank you for your support. Yeah, thanks for
that's
listening.
good podcasting.
Hopefully.
Oh,
God damn your ass.
I know. It's fucking
It's
wild.
really bad.
I don't think it's going to stop.
No, it's not. All right, let's go take pictures.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
My ass?
Yes. Go back 2 minutes.
Bye. Bye.
Peter, start it again. Hey, Peter. To save us time later, when we do Knowing in a month, can you just take our review of Next and just change every time one of us says Next to Knowing?
Yep. That was a good clean shot on knowing. Nick, can I get one?
Knowing.
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 Good.
We'll see you next month.
knowing.
So
What did you eat today?
I did a Spanish roast pork with a Romanesque sauce.
no, this
Yeah,
is
this-
all
this
the
tracks.
this is all the hatred and bile of these movies trying to get out
Yeah, no.
because
Nope.
it's not getting out the front hole fast enough.
The movies were no good. I had to put something good in me.
Fair enough.
Ass to ass. So I have a funny ass to ass story.
Oh.
So back when I was married to previous guest Meredith, we had a joke where we'd
Were you guys married before? I hadn't heard that.
we used to joke around, like do like a butt bump and be like, hey, butt stuff. So one day we're at a dinner party at their mom's house and just walk by and I do that and we both hey, butt stuff, but we do it quietly because there are guests. And Meredith's mom goes, what's butt stuff? And Meredith turns to their mother and goes, it's anal sex, mother, in front of the entire kitchen.
Hello, Meredith.
I do too.